Can I do that? Oh, how about I just do there's fired. Say illustration. How to illustration by trainer. That's how they do it right there. Okay, so that's what's happening. You want to know, in this case, find the maximum height. You're still looking for the highest point. You're still looking for the vertex. So it's the same thing you've been doing. Whenever you shoot something up in the air or throw something, it makes a parabola. And so you want the highest point. I still want the vertex of that graph. So you're all ready to go. These are easier than your last problems, because the last ones you had to come up with your own equation. These, they're giving them to you. So they're a little bit easier in that regard. I have the equation right now. It says f of t. I gotta shrink my little man. Oh, it's all shrinking. Okay. So I'm just going to start the problem. That's all. You just go straight to it. I'm going to change that f of t to the letter y, because that's what we're accustomed to. In this class and in calculus, they'll change variables on you. In this case, they're using t, because t stands for time. So that's a common variable to use. A lot of students don't like working with t. If you are one of those students, you can change everything to x's. It doesn't really matter. You just make sure you answer correctly. So we're going to go through our steps. I got to factor out that negative 16. Remember, when you factor out, you're dividing everything by what you took out. So 160 divided by that negative 16 gives me negative 10 t. And leave a space. From work, I remember last week when I was doing work, a lot of you were factoring the number out but forgetting to divide both of these by that number. So if that was you, or even if it's not, write yourself a little note, remind yourself to do that. Okay, now do your steps. Take half of that middle term. Take half of that middle term and then square it. That gives you 25. That tells you what to add here. Now what do I got to do? This? No, come on. Don't fall for that trick, Taylor. Yeah, there you go, there you go. You're just being agreeable, though. I appreciate it. Just trying to help somebody out there. Negative. So yeah, if you have a negative 16 in front, remember you always have to multiply by that to see what you really added to the right. So negative 400, right? Yeah.
I'm not agreeing with you.
No, I know it's dangerous. I know it was a pitfall. I put you right in the middle of that. But that I will tell you, that's a teacher trick. If those of you go into education, whenever a teacher suggests an answer to you, it's always wrong. Otherwise, she would just tell you that's the answer and move on. So if she's saying, is it this? Answer's always no. Always no. It is a good trick, yeah. Yeah, just saying. Also, when they say, I see you doing that and you better stop, they have seen nothing. And they're just trying to see who goes what. And that's how you know. Never fess up to that one.
Life lessons.
Life lessons right here. You tweet it, you know? Yeah. Yep.
You're right on that.
Yeah. You hashtag it. I'll look it up later. Yep. Life lessons in pre-cal. I'm just continuing. Oh, all that's recorded.
Yep.
At least I know.
Well.
At least I can favor my tweet now.
See how many of them watched the video that didn't come to class? You can pull that.
I could say, what'd you think about the video? How about that discussion we had? Yeah. You know?
And then suggest an answer. See if they.
And see if they fall for it. That's right. Then we'll know if I say something in class if they fess up. Say, watch the video. Genius. I was trying to think of an insult that was nice. But that's all I came up with. Genius. Yeah, that'll show them. So, again, all these steps are familiar to you. Nothing is new. Once you've added 25, make sure you multiply by that negative 16. That tells you what you really need to add to the left side, and then do the opposite and add it back over. This factors, you get a negative 5 inside because that's what you got when you took half. So we have 5 and 400, but now we need to answer the actual question. The question was, what was the maximum height? The answer is 400. So that's what the height is. The height was your y value here. What is 5?
X.
And what does X stand for in this case?
The arrow,
What about the arrow?
the feet
What-
per second.
No,
Oh, like the length of the arrow?
no,
Something with the arrow.
yes.
The
The seconds, yeah. So the height, okay, this is your t seconds. So remember we said if you don't like t, use x. This is your x. So that's your time. And this is what you got after you plugged in 5. So at 5 seconds is this right here. That's when the height occurred. And the height is what you get when you plug 5 into that equation. If I went straight up here now and I plugged 5 in, 5 squared is 25.
You get 400.
Times 16 is negative 400. Plus 800 gives me my 400 there.
So no matter what, it's always going to be, you don't ever have to plug it in, it'll be the lot number.
Yes, the height will be, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You don't want to go back and plug it in because then you're double doing your work. So the trick to these problems is not it's not, you don't have to find the equation. So these are easy for that. This by now you guys are good at. The trick is interpreting your answer and giving what I want. That's where the trick is. So you've got to know, okay, this is your height. This is your time. And then it's going to ask some other things right now, but we'll start from there. So if it said when, and some of them will. If it said when does the maximum height occur,
5 seconds.
then you would say 5 seconds. If it says what is the maximum height, you would say 400 feet. Yep.
We did it.
You feeling it?
Yeah.
I know what you're about to say. I think we've learned enough today. Well, you haven't. I know the word in it. It's scary. It's a scary thing. Just hang in there through that, and then there's your safety net at the end. Okay, so they're just explaining why that's 160 is all. If the initial velocity was 80 feet per second, that would say 80. I'm just telling you. But you don't have to create that. In calculus, you have to create it, but not here. In calculus, you do these same problems, you just do them differently. Okay, so after how many seconds does the ball reach the ground? It's not asking for the highest point. So this is gonna be better.
Would it be 10?
Okay, that's an excellent guess.
But no.
Well, no, it most likely is, but we have to prove it. But why do you say 10 seconds?
Because at the peak, it's 5 seconds.
Yeah, right? It's a parabola, and this vertex is your center point, and so this is generally your halfway, so it's very logical to think that that's 10 seconds, and it likely will be, but your task will be to prove it. So what they want to know is when does this happen? When? So we're trying to find time. I'm looking for t. So I have to solve something for t. Here's what you need to know about all these problems. And those of you going to calculus, you'll see all these again. And your key word is this word ground. The ground is a location. That's right. It is somewhere you can be. And the ground is location 0. That's why the base of the building is ground 0. Okay, so that's a location. It's the location of 0. The ground has a height of 0. So what they just gave you is, if f of x tells you the height, I now know the height is 0. I'm not trying to find the height. The ground's height is 0. You are no feet above ground. You are ground. So they gave you 0. They gave you the height. And I'm trying to find t. So on that last problem, they didn't give us either thing. They didn't give us the height or the time. We had to find them both. This time they gave us that the height is 0. And it says f of x stands for the height. So they gave us 0 equals. This, we're solving this for t. This is an Algebra 1 problem that you've forgotten how to do, maybe. So let's remind you. I can factor out. You're going to factor out everything you can. I'm going to take out not only a negative 16, I want to take out a negative 16t. I'm not doing completing the square here. This time you're solving. And so if you only have two terms, well, you can move one over, but I don't like that. Factor out what's in common. That's a negative 16t. Remember, when you factor out, you divide everybody by what you took out. Here, your negative 16s cancel. You had t squared on top. You're taking away 1t. All you're left here is just that poor little t. 160 divided by 16, you're left with 10. And those t's cancel out. So this, again, you're still doing your algebra 1. I am multiplying two things together here. I'm multiplying this thing times this thing. And I got 0 for an answer. The only way you can multiply two numbers and get an answer of 0 is if one of your numbers is 0. 0 times 5, or 27 times 0. So what that means is either this thing is equal to 0, or this is equal to 0. So you're solving now for t. The first one, if I divide by negative 16, I find out that t is 0. Well, that just means you started at 0 time. That's when it started. That just means the arrow started on the ground, which really it didn't unless you're halfway underground shooting an arrow ground. It's kind of imperfect. So this arrow, we're not going to say, oh, it happened before the problem began. That's dumb. Oh, whoops. Oh, this is negative, sorry. Put your little negative in here. See, when I wrote that negative 16t, I did not put my little negative right here. And so that's a negative 10. Sorry about that. We were dividing by negative 16. I failed to write negative 16 here, which makes it minus 10. We got all kinds of issues now. So it's minus 10 here. Everybody make those corrections. Here's correction here, and here, and here. So now when you solve, you got t equals 10. Who was right? Whoever it was that said 10 seconds. Taylor said 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to own it when you're right, right? There.